All right, Lydia, thanks so much. Good to see you. All right, Trump hammers the Somali fraud story, plus the War Department commandeers an oil tanker in the Caribbean. It's all tonight. Let's check it out. All right, welcome to Rob Schmitt Tonight. We've got some breaking news off the top. We have incredible video of our military commandeering a sanctioned oil tanker right off the coast of Venezuela. The chopper comes down. They say that's the Coast Guard. We're not exactly sure about that, but they go right onto the top of the ship. The administration says this tanker was used to carry illegal oil shipments out of both Venezuela and Iran, and now it's in U.S. custody. The president says whatever oil is on it is ours now. We're going to talk a lot more about this story here in just a couple of minutes. But first, we're going to talk about last night. Mount Pocono, Pennsylvania, and as they so often do, the president's economic speech last night spun off in many different directions as the president weaved, as he says, many facets of his presidency together into one of his funnier rallies in Mount Pocono. This was actually a very entertaining one. One topic the president refuses to relent on is the senseless importation of Somali refugees into this country. A population of people that are largely scamming us, the vast majority draining our welfare system, a smaller subsection defrauding us behind our backs while they drain us of welfare and while we feed and house them.
If you don't share our values, contribute to our economy, and assimilate into our society, then we don't want you in our country. We don't want you.
Putting it as simple as that. And the Center for Immigration Studies is releasing new information now on Somali welfare, and it's now very clear why Democrats and many in the media have done so much complaining about how Trump talks about this story, but so little debunking of his actual claims. Take a look at this. Somali households in the United States are bleeding us dry. 54% of Somali households in the state of Minnesota are on food stamps. 54%. 73% have at least one person on government-provided health care, free health care from the government. 81% of Minnesota Somalis are on some type of government welfare, and that number jumps to 89% when you're talking about Somali households that have at least one child in them. Almost 90% of Somali households with kids are being paid for by you and I. This is a suicidal immigration policy if I've ever seen one. Picking out the worst countries in the world, importing their people, and putting them all on our welfare system. Can you imagine doing this? It's like driving around and finding all the homeless people and just bringing them into your house. No country can survive behaving this way, and until very recently, no political party in this country would ever condone this nonsense. But today's Democrats are psychotic, and we know that. And in Minnesota, there are now so many Somalians voting, most of them are voting. Democrats are beholden to the community, pandering senselessly for their vote. So captured by this demographic, they've been willing to look the other way, as many have set up fraud schemes to steal hundreds of millions of dollars, and well aware that most of the voters are just, again, on the dole, on some kind of welfare, which means they will always vote Democrat. That's a very, very, very good constituency. And when it's not your money paying them, what the hell do you care? Any sensible American finds all of this to be outraging, enraging, whatever it is, humiliating. Here's a former Minnesota TSA agent explaining how he watched millions of our dollars leave through an airport for Mogadishu in cash in suitcases.
I saw suitcases filled with millions of dollars of cash, and the couriers were always Somali men traveling in pairs. And they got through the checkpoint. It just really absolutely blew my mind the first time you open a suitcase and you see millions of dollars of cash.
Where do you think that money came from? Our federal government. Did you ever imagine the level of white Western guilt would get so high that we'd allow African refugees to pack suitcases full of cash and take it back to the countries that we rescued them from? That's impressive. And as the president said last night, the leader of this constituency spends most of her time shaming our country as her people take more and more and more.
I love this Ilhan Omar, whatever the hell her name is, with the little turban. I love her. She comes in, does nothing but bitch. She's always complaining. We ought to get her the hell out. She married her brother in order to get in, right? She married her brother. Therefore, she's here illegally. She should get the hell out, throw her the hell out. She does nothing but complain.
Media furious over that version of her from the president, of course. They're not furious over anything else about this story. They're just mad about the way he talks about it. As always, the semantics is the only thing that the mainstream media really cares about. Now, the allegation, to correct the president real quick, the allegation is that Ilhan married her brother to get him into the country, not to get herself into the country. It's an allegation that's never actually been credibly refuted. We should say that too. It's been around for years now. It's just been slammed as racist, but nobody's ever debunked it. Regardless, it would be immigration fraud, no matter who they were trying to pull into the country, whether it was her or him, and certainly would be grounds for deportation. Problem is, it was back in 2009. Ilhan responded, calling Trump's obsession with her weird and saying he needs help, calling him a bigot, calling him a national embarrassment. Ilhan Omar talking about the president. Pretty bold claim from a woman elected by a constituency of refugees who are on welfare. And the various scams used to enter our country, stay here, and abuse or defraud our welfare state are under investigation by the Trump administration, as they should be. Joseph Edlow from USCIS described the scale of this back in September.
Our officers encountered blatant marriage fraud, visa overstays, people claiming to work at businesses that can't be found, forged documents, abuse of the H-1B visa system, abuse of the F-1 visas, and many other discrepancies. Over the course of the operation, our officers found indication of fraud, non-compliance, or public safety and national security concerns in nearly a little less than 50% of the cases interviewed.
Nearly 50% of the cases reviewed. Fraud. The sad truth is our country is so terrified of being labeled racist, we've been allowing this scam for decades now. Breitbart reviewing State Department documents from 2003 to 2008. It's a long time ago. Africans, including Somalis, represented more than 95% of refugees who arrived in the U.S. through the P3 program. In March 2008, after some 36,000, mostly Africans, had entered the U.S. as P3 refugees, the majority of whom resettled in Minnesota, the program was halted by the Bush State Department after they unveiled mass fraud. We've known about this for 20 years, and nobody had the balls to stop it because they're too terrified of being called a racist. It's not just happening in Minnesota, it's happening in other states as well. In Maine, a scam healthcare company was found liable for nearly $1 million in erroneous billing to MaineCare, which is the state's Medicare agency. Abdullahi Ali, as the founder and CEO, had run for president in the past of Jubaland, which is a semi-autonomous region in Somalia. This was last year, and he publicly boasted at the time in Somali media of funding a militia in this autonomous region of Somalia. He was funding a militia with proceeds that he claimed he had earned in the United States, selling himself as a successful businessman. No, he was just stealing our money and funding a militia in Somalia. This is the reality of the situation. While the media is all talking about how Trump is being offensive, this is what we have in our country. And again, we've known about this for 20 years. Do we have that much money that nobody has the guts to just say, we need to stop this? This is getting ridiculous. This is billions of dollars, not hundreds of millions, it's billions now. The latest estimates could be $8 billion stolen, but this is not a huge amount of people. This is 80, 90,000 people have stolen $8 billion. That's an ungodly amount of money. One of the smartest people to ever walk the earth, a legal immigrant into our country, explains the situation perfectly. Take a listen.
There are massive transfer payments going to illegal immigrants. Essentially, we're paying people to come here from somewhere else in vast numbers, then fast-tracking them to citizenship and making them beholden to government payments and voting hard left. That's essentially, it's like voter importation.
All right, Sebastian Gorka is the Deputy Assistant to the President, the Senior Director for Counterterrorism at the White House, and he joins us now. Sir, good to see you again. I want to start with some breaking news that's right up your alley from the President. Comments made at the beginning of this roundtable event this afternoon indicating the U.S. military has seized an oil tanker in the Caribbean. Here's what the President said.
As you probably know, we've just seized a tanker on the coast of Venezuela, large tanker, very large. Largest one ever seized, actually. And other things are happening, so you'll be seeing that later, and you'll be talking about that later. You'll discuss that with the appropriate people later on, but no, it was seized for a very good reason.
All right, so Politico is reporting that this is a Cuban oil tanker, which would be full of Venezuelan oil, which Cuba gets oil from Venezuela. After a number of drug boat strikes, so this is, I guess, a new tactic against Maduro as the White House looks to force this dictator out of power, is what it feels like. What can you tell us?
It's much more than that, and let's just start by saying go Coasties. So God bless our Coast Guard in this action and elements of the Department of War as well. This is a member of a shadow fleet. The attempts to evade sanctions and also to just do an end run around international law with flags of convenience. We're not going to allow this anymore. So whether it's Venezuela or whether it's other countries like Iran that are making money in ways that are illegal and counter the U.S. national interest, as elucidated so very, very eloquently in the president's national security strategy that we published on Friday. We are very serious, whether it's drug boats, whether it's illegal tankers. We're going to take action where we see fit and where it threatens our national security interests as the United States.
Is that accurate from Politico? This was a boat full of oil that was heading to Cuba and then to be sold off from Cuba to someone else?
You really, Rob, I am not going to say Politico is right about anything. They are scum. They are gutter press. If you don't believe it, go and watch the interview I gave with their White House correspondent a few months ago, or the one where the president called the same fake hack non-journalist to account in his interview with her recently. I would say, yes, it's breaking news. Yes, the president has announced the key aspects of that incredibly successful mission. But what you want to do, Rob, as always, primary sources, the White House website, the Department of War, Department of Homeland Security that the Coast Guard belong to. So stick to sources you can rely, starting with the Trump administration and the president himself.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. We'll leave that there. I want to talk a little bit about Somalia here for a second. The president talked a lot about this last night. Immigration with Somalia, he said this.
I've also announced a permanent pause on third world migration, including from hellholes like Afghanistan, Haiti, Somalia, and many other countries. We always take people from Somalia, places that are a disaster, right? Filthy, dirty, disgusting, ridden with crime. The only thing they're good at is going after ships.
All right, so we've essentially started adopting the rest of the world, is what it feels like. We're bringing in third world refugees who largely are coming here and surviving off our welfare system. It's over 80%, the number of Somalis that are on some form of welfare in the state of Minnesota. Fiscally, that is suicidal behavior. And if we're going to start doing this, then why don't we just start sending tanker ships all through Africa and Asia and bringing the entire world that lives on less than $1 a day, just import them into the United States and we'll just start putting them up?
You're absolutely right. Again, all of this is made incredibly lucid in the president's national security strategy. We have to save Western civilization. He made some very blunt comments in that document from Friday about what's happening in Europe, unfettered illegal immigration. Look at the situation across the pond in the UK and the trouble it's causing in terms of crime there as well, in the actual drain on the national coffers of our allies in across the pond. Look, it's very clear that when you come to this nation, you have to assimilate, and nobody has a right to come here. I am an immigrant to the United States. I got in line. I waited. I took a test. I took an oath to the Constitution of the United States, but nobody has a right to become a citizen. And to the president's prior point about these countries like Somalia, they are a hive of not only criminal activity, but I can tell you as senior director for counterterrorism in the White House, they are non-functioning states. They are ungoverned space. And you know who loves ungoverned space, Rob? Terrorists.
And that's certainly true. And I would love to know the number of Americans that believe that we should be bringing in refugees from countries that need to be explicitly on our welfare programs to survive. I can't imagine that's a very high number. And yet that's the policies that are coming from Democrats elected in these states and from our own immigration and refugee policy. Just all of it needs so much dramatic reform back to what Americans actually want and what we would actually expect from our government. It's just surreal. Sebastian Gorka, thanks so much. Good to see you.
God bless. Merry Christmas. Thank you, Rob.
All right, turning back now to the breaking news from just a couple hours ago. The Trump administration has seized an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela and has released incredible video of that operation, including troops just dropping right down onto the deck of that illegal ship. The Attorney General Pam Bondi sharing that the FBI, Homeland Security, and the Coast Guard all came together to execute a seizure warrant for an oil tanker used to transport sanctioned oil from Venezuela and also from Iran. And in this case, it was taking oil from Venezuela. The tanker sanctioned by the U.S. due to its involvement in an illicit oil shipping network supporting foreign terrorist organizations, according to our government. Rebecca Grant is a senior fellow at the Lexington Institute, joins us now. Rebecca, good to see you again. This is a tanker that's taking oil away from Venezuela. So Venezuela is selling oil to someone else or giving oil to another country. But Politico says that country is Cuba. What do you believe we've done here?
Well, I almost want to say what took them so long. There are literally dozens of Venezuelan vessels, tugs, drilling vessels, and a couple of crude oil tankers that have been on a sanctions list for a long time. So this tanker left Venezuela, started through a region of the Caribbean Sea that's got half the United States Navy there. And here is an incredibly impressive operation. Hats off, to the Trump administration for their transparency in immediately releasing this video. So there are many more assets that we can put pressure on, and Maduro will be feeling the heat.
What percentage of Venezuelan oil that's exported is illicit or is illegal as this ship is? I mean, not all of their oil, not all the oil that comes out of that country is considered to be illegal, right? I mean, this is just some amount of it. And how do they know that this ship is part of the problem?
Well, remember, we have exquisite maritime surveillance, and so we know what every ship is doing down in that region. We used to import a lot of Venezuelan oil due to sanctions. Since about 2019, we don't. Most of it goes to China. I think what we'll find as the details come out is this is a known ship, maybe with a Liberian flag, that has been used in the past to get to Iran and to evade sanctions.
Okay. So you think this was going Venezuela to Iran, possibly?
You know, hard to say. I think we'll get some more details when we know what this ship actually is. But this ship could have had a long history as well as being on the sanctions list.
Right. This is an escalation, right? This is they're going to continue to hit Maduro until he walks out of Venezuela and moves away. So I imagine they're going to start taking more and more of these ships over the next coming weeks.
It is an escalation. And Rob, you know, you've made the point that this is also about China and about putting pressure on Maduro. Everyone would like to see him gone and China's influence out of the region. Also, Putin should be worried. He's got hundreds of vessels in a shadow fleet, and it looks like those can be taken over pretty easily based on what we're seeing with the Venezuelan ship.
Right. If I could real quick, he had some strong words. I'm not going to play him, but he had some strong words for Colombia's president today, too, saying, you're next. Colombia, they produce a lot of drugs, I think far more than Venezuela does. He seems to have his eye on the neighboring country.
Yes, there's a lot of connection there with the Venezuelan military run by Maduro and supplies coming from Colombia. It's a mess. And I think Trump is right. Got to keep an eye on Colombia, too. We want to clean up this hemisphere, clean up our own neighborhood, stop the drugs, stop the migrants, push out the influence of China and Russia.
Wow. Okay. Big move today, taking a ship, saying that the oil's ours now. Rebecca Grant, thanks so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
How do you fix health care in a country where politicians have declared it is a human right? The Republican plan next with Senator Rodger Marshall.
I'm Arthur Lee, inventor and CEO of LifeVac, but most importantly, I'm a dad first.
Over 10 years ago, I watched my dad design and build the first LifeVac in our garage. Now, that device has saved thousands of lives.
The LifeVac saved my life in 1-2 seconds.
It's a device that saved my son's life.
A choking accident can happen anywhere. Order your LifeVac now.
Don't wait another minute. A life might depend on it. Go to lifevac.net or call 877-543-3822.
You know the holidays are meant to be about family, laughter, and taking things slow. But when you're in pain, it's hard to enjoy any of it. I know because my back has made life difficult. But that's why I love the Signal Relief Patch. It's helped me enjoy the holidays again. Join the thousands who have experienced relief and get 30% off your Signal Relief Patch today. I've given this patch as a gift to friends, family, and even strangers I've seen in pain.
Signal Relief has truly given me my happiness back.
The Signal Relief Patch puts pain on the back burner.
The Signal Relief Patch has been life-changing.
This is too good to be true. It's too easy.
In a recent study, over 85% of people felt relief, and it comes with a money-back guarantee. This patch was a game changer for me, and it can be for you too. Trust me, the patch works.
The Unaffordable Care Act, which is Obamacare, they call it now the unaffordable because it's unaffordable. Obamacare was a scam, but we're going to see. I mean, the Republicans, I can tell you, want the money to go to the people, and we're winning that battle. The Democrats are having a hard time with it because they're in the pocket of the insurance companies.
This is an interesting situation we're in now here with healthcare. The president tearing into Obamacare again today at a business roundtable as Senate Republicans unveil their own healthcare plan, the alternative plan here. The bill expected to be voted on tomorrow, called the Healthcare Freedom for Patients Act, introduced by Senators Cassidy and Crapo, who say it tackles skyrocketing Obamacare premiums, sending money directly to Americans by putting cash into health savings accounts called bronze-level plans. You can either get $1,000 or $1,500 depending on your age. You see there on the screen. Proposal likely to fail, though, because you got the filibuster, right? You need 60 in the Senate. Democrats refusing to negotiate, demanding Republicans just extend those juiced-up COVID-era Obamacare subsidies. They used COVID as an excuse to prop up Obamacare as it failed miserably. They spent so much money during COVID. This was part of what they did. Many of which, those subsidies are going to people making as much as $500,000 a year, are having you pay for their health care. Do you make $500,000 a year? Your tax dollars are helping to subsidize the health care of people who do. Welcome to big government. This, despite the Government Accountability Office finding massive fraud recently. Of course, any big government program is going to have massive fraud and theft in it. $21 billion of it, a third of the subsidies that were paid out, a third went to people who never claimed the payments on their tax returns. That's a big red flag. That's your money. Senator Rodger Marshall is a doctor. He also sits on the Senate Health Committee involved in health care negotiations. Sir, good to have you back on. Your thoughts on the Crapo-Cassidy plan?
Well, I think it's a great step in the right direction. Thanks in many instances, because of Obamacare, healthcare is in a crisis. And what we want to do is put patients in charge, not insurance companies. So what Obamacare does, among other things, is send $150 billion a year to insurance companies. We want to take a small portion of that amount of money and put it in your healthcare savings account so you can make choices. We want to give you choices, put you in control, and we think that's going to drive down the cost of healthcare for everybody.
I mean, I think the hardest part of this is people have a hard time understanding insurance and healthcare, and I think where where is the problem? Like, is there a way that, can you explain in a way that people can understand exactly what happened to healthcare and the cost of it in this country, and why the hell why is, even if you're not on Obamacare, your insurance premiums are skyrocketing? Where is the problem?
Yeah, Rob, I think it's the complexity. Remember Nancy Pelosi saying we need to pass the bill so we can read what's in it. But there is just layers and layers of complexity, and it allows hospitals, insurance companies, pharmacy benefit managers to hide the true cost of things. So that's why we want to pair this putting money in a healthcare savings account plus price tags. We want patients to become consumers again. We want patients to see what the actual prices are. We believe that if we would add the price tags to this bill, that it would save the country $1 trillion a year. That's not me saying that. 40 economists say if we give patients price tags, we make them consumers, it'll save $1,000 a month per family. So I think it's the complexity. I think it's the way insurance companies, hospitals hide the true cost of health care.
Yeah. How much of the problem is the fact that, Americans we have the boomers all getting very old, and we have a lot of methods of keeping them alive for a very long time, and that's very, very expensive to do. It's just a costly thing to keep people alive into their 80s and 90s.
Yeah, it is. And America, to be all honest, is a sick nation. We have, 30% of Americans have a chronic disease, and we're spending about 90% of our dollars on those chronic disease like diabetes and heart disease, those basic things as well. So we are a sick nation. If you want me to balance the budget, we need to solve this riddle. Part of it is making patients consumers again. Part of it is making patients healthier as well. A little healthier diet, a little more exercise, those types of things.
Got 10 seconds left. It looks like this doesn't pass. The Crapo-Cassidy plan won't pass. What do you think happens here over the next few weeks?
Well, we're going to keep fighting. Look, Obama gave us these problems. We're trying to fix it. We're going to keep pushing our price tags bill. We got good bipartisan support, so I'm going to keep in there fighting.
Okay. All right. Dr. Rodger Marshall, Dr. and Senator Rodger Marshall, good to see you, sir. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Our education secretary is on a nationwide tour to show our indoctrinated kids that there is a positive history of this country. She's got that. Joining us next.
Hi there, I'm Dean Heskin, President and CEO of Swiss America. Most investors believe their IRA, 401k, and bank accounts are reliable and safe. But what if our economy becomes so dire that you're restricted from accessing your own money? The fact is that should your bank be in trouble for holding bad loans, the burden could fall on you to help bail them out. Even more concerning is that U.S. financial regulations allow banks to impose withdrawal limits on your hard-earned savings. But there's something you can do about it. Our team at Swiss America has a report called The Secret War on Cash. Learn how to protect yourself with assets that can remain outside the control of banks and other financial institutions. For over 40 years, Swiss America has been one of the most trusted metal firms in the country. So don't wait. Call or text the number on your screen today for financial peace of mind in these uncertain times.
It's the Blue Compass RV annual Blue Tag clearance. Save over 40% on select new RVs during our largest sale of the year. Plus, every RV comes with a 1-year VIP membership to RV Complete, a $5,000 value. Visit us online or in store today.
Radical jihadists are not done. Iran promises death to America. They've built sleeper terror cells in the U.S. They support terror groups out to destroy Israel, including Hamas, whose founding charter calls for Islam to dominate the world.
The young people have been educated to believe that the most sacred thing they do is stab a Christian in the heart.
The only democracy in the Middle East that supports religious freedom is Israel. Standing for freedom, not terror.
Nobody does insurance like the Zebra.
Oh, great. Okay.
Got you, Mike.
I just found the perfect policy at the best price for you.
Told you. Nobody does insurance like the Zebra. We monitor your insurance and inform you of savings the moment we find it, so you never have to second-guess your policy or your price. Find out how much you can save today. Hooves in.
All right, welcome back. Our Education Secretary, Linda McMahon, is on an education tour, which is called the History Rocks Tour, visiting schools and highlighting to students the importance of civics education. The History Rocks initiative is part of Trump's America 250 Civics Education Coalition, partnered with groups like Moms for Liberty, the America First Policy Institute, and also Charlie Kirk's Turning Point USA. The goal, of course, is to give kids a view of history of this country that won't make them hate or be embarrassed about where they're from and their country, which is what most education these days seems to be doing to kids. They're trying to change that at the Education Department. The tour kicked off earlier this week when McMahon visited Foose Elementary School in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Her next stop was St. George's Technical High School, Middletown, Delaware. McMahon went to Cedar Drive Middle School in Colts Neck, New Jersey as well. Angry parents, left-wing parents, made their voices heard there. Claims of racism, homophobia, and propaganda from the far leftist parents of some kids there at that school in New Jersey. We wanted to get her reaction to that. Linda McMahon is the Secretary of Education. She's with us tonight. Good to see you, Madam Secretary. Your reaction to the parents that are complaining about what you're trying to do here.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me, Rob. Sure. It's good to be back on the show. Parents in general are so pleased, by this tour. And the kids are responding so well in every school. I love that. They love the History Rocks tour, the road to independence. And the purpose for this is to get ready for the 250th celebration next July, 250 years of our country. So this is a celebratory tour, but it is also returning civics education to the states. I mean, when we're talking about the Declaration of Independence and how many signers are there in total, and if we're looking at one particular state and saying how many signers of the Declaration of Independence came from this state, or we're in New Jersey and asking a question, what is the longest boardwalk in the country? And we say, surely it's in Atlantic City. And the kids just are having the best time in their assemblies when we're doing this tour. And so I think there were a handful of parents outside in New Jersey, and to try to turn this into a partisan educational tour when we're talking about Thomas Jefferson and Benjamin Franklin and signers of the Declaration, and what we went through, as a country, and what civics really means. It is just, it's just farcical. Because it is really a celebration of our country, and having kids across the country appreciate, their country.
Well, people want to love their country. People want to love this country. It's such a vile perversion, of the human mind to try and make kids hate or be embarrassed about where they came from or the founding. I mean, this has been the greatest gift to the world has been the founding of this country in so many different ways. People want that. People want to believe that. It's so sad that we have a subsection of society that's determined to make us believe any different.
Well, the good news, Rob, is it's a very small section of our society. They get very vocal, and they'll get a lot of coverage when it turns out just to be a handful. And the headline reads, protesters outside of schools, la-di-da, but they should come inside the school. I think I read one report that said press wasn't allowed. I did a press gaggle at each of those 3 schools. Didn't have any problem at all taking questions, from the media and telling them exactly what we were doing on the tour. In fact, one press person asked me, she said, well, are you really advocating teaching, all history? I mean, back to days of slavery. I said, oh my goodness, the history of this country is about everything, from how it was founded all the way through to our modern technology today. It's warts and all, where we've come as a country to be so proud of, a flag to be so respected.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. I mean, I went to a very conservative school district in central Indiana. I went to elementary school, 35 years ago, 30 years ago. I learned about slavery. We all learned about slavery. We're not trying to hide anything. Nobody's trying to conceal anything about the founding of this country. And that's what they alleged, but it's just not true. I want to get your take on one more thing before I let you go here, Madam Secretary. There's a new report from the Chicago Public Schools Office of Inspector General. Chicago school is obviously one of the worst, you know, I mean, they have kids that can't read, they can't do math, and they spent $14.5 million in travel expenditures for luxury travel in 2023 and 2024 fiscal year combined. $7.7 million on overnight employee and student travel. These are trips to Finland, Estonia, Egypt, South Africa for administrators at these schools where kids are failing miserably, and it seems that they couldn't care less, could they?
Well, I have to say that if I were in charge of that group, I mean, it's top of my head what my immediate reaction would be if they were still there. They should all be fired. You know, when you have, you know, we're talking about accountability to taxpayers, but first and foremost, we're talking about responsibility to these kids who are trying to learn, and when they are failing, you know, in math and being able to read, they can't progress. You know, they're going to never be successful in education when you can only read, you know, past third grade level. I mean, the audacity of that is unbelievable.
It is. It really is something else. Such a mess you inherited at the Department of Education, but you're doing a great job cleaning a lot of that out and bringing it back to the states and getting it as close to the source as you can. Is all brilliant stuff. The Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon, thanks so much.
Thank you, Rob.
Good to see you. All right, another interest rate cut today. We've got Trish Regan coming up next on that, along with the Trump struggle on affordability. All that next.
People always ask, why Patriot Gold Group? With over 10,000 clients to date and over $1 billion in transactions, not a single complaint on the Better Business Bureau. Consumer Affairs top rated for 9 years in a row. Over 2,000 five-star reviews. The only company nationwide where you, the client, work directly with an owner. Home of the no fee for life IRA. Gold is up 80% in the last 28 months, 275% since Lehman Brothers collapsed. We are patriots protecting patriots. Give Patriot Gold Group a call at 888-528-4290 before it's too late. Patriot Gold Group is Consumer Affairs' top-rated gold and silver dealer 9 years in a row. Call now, 888-528-4290.
You might take something for your heart. You might get support for your joints, or even use something for your digestion. So why wouldn't you take something for the most important part of you? Your brain. People all over the country take Prevagen for their brain. In fact, Prevagen has been the #1 selling brain supplement nationwide for over 10 years. The most important supplement for the most important part of you. Try Prevagen for your brain today.
Your data is like a single domino. The moment it's stolen, it starts a chain reaction that puts the information that guards your assets at risk. 1 in 3 Americans have been a victim of identity theft. Are you willing to risk it?
When I saw zeros on that screen as my bank account balance, I went to immediate panic.
$21,000 just gone.
I opened my account and $30,000 is missing. Like $30,000. I have no idea what to do.
If your personal information is stolen, are you prepared to pick up the pieces alone? LifeLock is the leader in identity theft protection and restoration.
Once LifeLock got involved, everything changed.
With LifeLock, if your identity is stolen, they'll step in and fix it so you don't have to, guaranteed. Our highly trained U.S.-based restoration specialists contact institutions, dispute fraudulent charges, close compromised accounts, and even procure legal support far beyond the capabilities of your bank or credit card company.
LifeLock pursued this case further than I ever would have imagined.
If you call right now, you'll get LifeLock for just $9.99 a month for your first year. And as extra protection, all LifeLock memberships include the $1 Million Protection Package. Our members receive reimbursement for stolen funds and personal expenses, like lost wages, as well as coverage for lawyers and experts up to $3 million in total.
When the bank refused to reimburse my stolen money, the $1 Million Protection Package came through for me.
Our Restoration Guarantee and $1 Million Protection Package are included in all memberships with no additional fees.
I think it's natural to think that you can do this on your own. You can't. you need an expert in your corner.
Call 1-800-360-9220 and use promo code TV35 or go to lifelock.com/TV35 to join today.
Welcome back. The Federal Reserve, cutting interest rates for the third time in a row, the third meeting in a row, a quarter of a point down yet again. Here was, as Trump calls him, too late Jerome Powell earlier today.
Our framework calls for us to take a balanced approach in promoting both sides of our dual mandate. Accordingly, we judged it appropriate at this meeting to lower our policy rate by a quarter percentage point. The baseline expectation for next year is, at least at the Fed, and I think with outside forecasters too, is a pickup in growth.
All right, Trish Regan, host of the Trish Regan Show, joins us now. Good to see you again. What do you make of this economy? They're lowering interest rates while they're telling us that the economy is very strong, but people are saying that they can't afford things, but also people are spending a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, you know, what's going on? Typically, you don't lower rates if the economy is doing really well. So on the one hand, things are looking good. I mean, you had really good second quarter GDP numbers. You have a low unemployment rate, 4.44% unemployment. That's really low. We got inflation finally, Rob, coming down. I mean, how long was that going to take? It was like, boom, presto, Trump comes into office, and what do you know? Energy prices start going down. You get gas that's below $3 a barrel. But here's the problem. Like, people don't feel really good because guess what? Prices were up like 22%. Overall with Joe Biden in office, because he did everything you could possibly think of wrong. It's like the Seinfeld episode. Like anytime he and his economic team thought to do anything, Rob, they should have done the exact opposite, but they didn't. Okay, so they really, really screwed us up. So now we're sitting here going, okay, how do we rehabilitate? And people still have fond memories of when Trump was in office before, and you know, it only cost this much to do something, and now it costs 22% more.
And that's what I keep saying.
You have that sort of sentiment where people are looking back and remembering that. Here's what I would say. Good for the Fed. We do need that because we're seeing a little bit of congestion, shall we say, like in the housing market or even in the car market. Because how do you go out and get an auto loan if rates are so high? You can help alleviate that by having lower interest rates. So that was the right move. We should probably get another one out of them and maybe another one. We hope this doesn't get too political because there's some members of the Federal Reserve that don't really want to do anything to help Donald Trump's economy ahead of midterms.
Yeah, they were talking on CNBC this morning, and the host Kernan said, you know, unequivocally that the problem we're having right now was Democrats' fault. I mean, that's the reason that we're up 22%. That was Joe Biden's rate of inflation. That's why everything's so expensive. I think people expected Trump was going to come back and everything was going to go back to 2019 cheap. That doesn't happen. We stay here.
No,
we just grow at a regular expected level, a moderate level, and that's what it is. And that I think is a lot of the problem with the messaging from the White House.
Yeah, and we've actually got inflation that's more in line with what historical standards are. It's exactly where the Fed wants it, right? In that sort of 2%, 2 to 3% zone. You can't have no inflation or deflation. Like, let's be really clear, because then, well, you and I would never buy anything, right? I like a good sale. So if you tell me something's going to be on sale next month, I might just wait. Right. And if it's going to be on sale even more next year, then I'm going to keep waiting and waiting. And so that's a really dangerous pattern. You want a little bit of inflation, not too much, not Joe Biden style, but a little bit of inflation just to kind of keep things humming along. And that's what we've got now. So thank you, right, to President Trump and the strong economic policies and the great team
people don't
led
get
by
that.
Bessent. It was just phenomenal.
They don't get that. People think it's gonna. People think that the prices are gonna go because it's like, damn, a house costs so much money. Let's you know, I mean, that's what I think. I think what would really make people feel better is if there was a way to get housing prices down, which I think deportations helps. I think reducing regulations is going to help make more homes, but this is going to take a while. I mean, that's going to take a few years to build houses, to get them up, and to get housing to come down to, I think, a regular level. I don't think housing can sustain at this level. Maybe it will, but to me, it's crazy that the price of a house has doubled and the wage of everybody else has gone up 5 or 10%. How are people holding on to these mortgages?
But I would say this, to Donald Trump's credit, wages have started to go up again. We're seeing nice, healthy wage growth that is above inflation. So that's a really good sign. And don't forget, when he was in office first time around, ahead of March 2020, the infamous March 2020, guess what? We had the best wage growth we had ever seen since like the 1950s. You got to go back to JFK to see anything like it. So the question is, can we repeat that again? I think we can. And I think that what the Fed did today was an important step forward. We got wonderful growth, too, in the stock market. AI is exploding. There's a lot of exciting things in the tech community that I think are going to keep propelling us forward. But how do you solve for the middle class? How do you make them feel better? He's doing what he can. Heck, he wants to give out those $2,000 rebate checks.
I have mixed feelings about that. I don't like them just giving out piles of money when we got all this debt. Trish Regan, I appreciate you coming on. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Bob. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. Nice tree behind you as well. All right.
Thank you.
Coming up next, well, News from the Left is next. So we're going to talk about whatever this thing on the left is.
Growing up, kids face a lot of stress. Girls on the Run turns that stress into strength. Through fun activities, girls build confidence and learn life skills like managing emotions and resolving conflict. Doing this work for 2 decades has shown me that youth mental health is complex. Every girl is unique, and there isn't one simple fix. Let's come together to empower girls, support parents, and strengthen families.
They killed her brother. They shot her dog. And they took her hostage for 400 days and terrifying nights. They raped her. They put guns to her head. They starved her. These are the stories of Israeli women attacked by Hamas. If you are supporting Hamas and radicalized Palestinians, this is what you are supporting. Choose freedom, not terror.
The poverty is unimaginable. There are people who are struggling.
This is where she washes the dishes.
If you're ever going to allow your Christian faith to rise and to do something for God's chosen people, now is the time.
This is the home of Galina. She's 96 years old.
This is what she had to eat for today.
She has one pot with water and wheat.
My father was killed by the Nazis, and I was an orphan. I didn't know about God. But now, in the cold, hungry nights, I pray for food to the God I've never known. There are good people that love you.
You see the tears. Scripture says joy can come in the morning, and you can be the reason.
If you will bless these hurting children of Israel, you will receive God's blessing in return. Your urgent gift today of $25 will help Rush, a survival food box filled with life-saving essentials. If you call right now, your gift's impact will be doubled to help save lives. Call, scan, or go online now.
I'm not exaggerating when I tell you, I don't know how much longer she could have waited for us to come.
I can't even grow my food anymore. What will happen to me? I'm doomed to starve.
Tens of thousands of elderly Holocaust survivors in the former Soviet Union are living in extreme poverty, hungry, and forgotten. But through the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, we can bring them hope.
Eggs. It's my favorite food. May you be blessed.
You say to them, we see you and we're here to help.
If you call right now, your gift's impact will be doubled to help save lives.
Welcome back. Time now for news from the left. A message for all those clowns out there who are still screaming free Palestine. We have new video here from an anti-Hamas Palestinian activist. This is video that Newsmax has not verified itself, but it is moving around and it seems to be quite authentic. That's our take. It's this video showing Hamas hiding loads of baby formula and nutritional shakes that were meant for the children of Gaza. Hamas hiding this. Why? Of course, so that Gazans will continue to starve, the babies will starve, and that can further Hamas's claims of widespread famine, all caused by Israel, right? The post on X. During the worst of the days in the hunger crisis in Gaza in the past 6 months, Hamas deliberately hid literal tons of infant formula and nutritional shakes for children, storing them in clandestine warehouses belonging to the Gaza Ministry of Health. The goal, as I said, to worsen the hunger crisis and initiate a disaster as part of the terror group's famine narrative in order to go after Israel, is the rest of it right there. That is as disgusting as the reality is of that war, and every time you hear somebody scream Free Palestine, you know what to say back. Next up, Jim Acosta finally where he belongs, talking to his laptop in his basement. Watch Acosta. This was just hours before our president held a 90-minute, largely ad-libbed rally that touched on 1,000 different subjects.
He seems extremely tired. Where are the press conferences? He doesn't do press conferences. The most he can do now is he brings the little kids into the room and he screams at them and calls them names, and then he sends them away. That's the extent of him doing question and answer time now, is on Air Force One or in the Oval. Doesn't do press conferences, doesn't do rallies.
Doesn't do rallies. Well, just a couple hours later, we had the first of what's going to be many rallies. Acosta hasn't been the only one attacking Trump's cognitive health. The New York Times saying, is Sleepy Donald the new Sleepy Joe? Yes, they're really doing this. Piece says there are echoes of what bedeviled Biden in what's bedeviling Trump, adding this from a man who routinely rants about the evasions and deceptions of Sleepy Joe Biden. Wake up, Mr. President. You're not fooling anyone. Now, what inspired all of this? During a couple of these 3-hour cabinet meetings where Trump takes like a zillion questions, yeah, it looked like he did kind of nod off there for a second. And again, you put me in a 3-hour cabinet meeting, I'm probably going to get pretty tired too, especially if you feed me right before it, which is how these things go. They're actually going to try and make Trump into Joe Biden. They're going to try and pull this off when he's answering more questions off the cuff than any president in the history of this country has ever answered. It's amazing. Next up, the newest icon of the radical left is whatever this thing is on the left. They call it a Jennifer Welch. It is a combination of toxic levels of white guilt, a very tiny brain, a miserable, lonely existence of hating men, and near fatal levels of Botox and plastic surgery. Here is a Welch angrily insulting Charlie Kirk's widow for no known reason.
You are an opportunistic grifter who weaponizes your gender to demean women. This woman should be kicked to the curb. She is an absolute grifter, just like Donald Trump and just like her unrepentant, racist, homophobic husband was.
What a hideous person. I mean, an idiot, and also just a very, very, very hideous person in more ways than one. Even John Fetterman called this out, calling it gross and dehumanizing to attack a widow with young kids right after her husband was assassinated. Yes, the freak show, the Jennifer Welch experience, whatever the hell created that thing. I don't know what lab made that and how it lit on fire before they put it in the box, but that's a Jennifer Welch. Welcome to it. The breakup that broke our hearts, they're warming back up to each other. That's next.
Closed captioning is brought to you by MagnaLife Pain Relieving Foot Cream to target neuropathy symptoms.
The stabbing, burning pain in your feet is real. Here's what real customers have to say about MagnaLife Pain Relieving Foot Cream, the only thing that works for my diabetic neuropathy.
Available in foot care and diabetic aisles.
Elmer Heinrich here. I'm in the mineral and nutritional supplement business, and I'm here to tell you that there's hundreds of nutritional supplements on the market, but very few have more than 8 or 9 minerals. Now, you might consider Immuno 150. This incredible product has 70 plant-derived minerals and 80 other nutrients. Now, minerals are the most important of all nutrients, but due to topsoil mineral depletion, our present-day foods have 70% fewer minerals than many years ago. I believe the world is sick due to a lack of mineral in our food, so think about Immuno 150. There's nothing like it, and I mean nothing. Now, 70 minerals can do wonders to improve your health. Look at the videos on our website and consider placing an order for Immuno 150 online or call our toll-free number. See what 70 minerals and 80 of the best nutrients can do for you. Like thousands of others, you won't believe the results. Order now.
I lost 110 pounds. You couldn't tell at all because of my excess skin. Sono Bello changed that in one visit.
Introducing the new Lift EX, the just one visit, total body transformation everyone is talking about.
I am super happy with my results.
I decided to give Sono Bello a try. Look at me, I have a silhouette. You can see my waist.
Lift EX is Sono Bello's breakthrough 360-degree body lift alternative. Our body contouring experts sculpt, tighten, and lift your stomach waist, thighs, and backside, all in just one visit with less downtime.
Sono Bello targeted the areas diet exercise could not do. I found me again.
Sono Bello has over 50,000 five-star reviews, and LiftDX is exclusively available at Sono Bello, America's #1 cosmetic surgery specialist. Book your free, personalized consultation today. Easy monthly plans make your best body more affordable than ever.
This year is my year thanks to Sono Bello.
Call Sono Bello for your free consultation today.
Drop is finally here. Drop delivers the weight loss benefits of GLP-1 injections in easy-to-use oral drops, no needles.
That's right. The two big drawbacks with weight loss injections are high costs and weekly injections. Drop is flavorless and odorless, so you can just add it to water or your favorite beverage. Drop offers other advantages over injections too. With Drop, you can personalize your dosage based on your weight loss goals.
And because you add Drop to any liquid, there's no concern about injection site infections, bruising, or dosage confusion.
Drop is the easier, safer, cost-effective alternative to help you achieve your weight loss goals without the needles.
Can't find it anywhere? The Wellness Company has it. No consultation needed. Simply order online and use promo code SLIM to save $100. Visit dropthepounds.com/slim. That's promo code SLIM at dropthepounds.com/slim.
It's the Blue Compass RV annual Blue Tag clearance. Save over 40% on select new RVs during our largest sale of the year. Plus, every RV comes with a 1-year VIP membership to RV Complete, a $5,000 value. Visit us online or in store today.
As a cardiologist, when I put my patients on a statin to reduce cholesterol, I also tell them it can deplete their CoQ10 levels. I recommend taking Cunol CoQ10. Cunol has 3 times better absorption than regular CoQ10. Cunol, the brand I trust.
All right, finally tonight, it was the breakup that broke our hearts. When Trump and Elon went their separate ways, we all cried a little, didn't we? God, I love that relationship, but there's good news. They're having feelings again, it would appear. When asked if Elon is back in Trump's circle of friends, the president told reporters that he likes Elon a lot during that long cabinet meeting last week. You might have missed it during that 3-hour cabinet meeting. And then Elon went on a podcast this week and said this.
You know, President Trump is very funny. He's got a great sense of humor. He's very funny. He's like naturally funny, but it's like somewhat effortless. When he had Ed Mamdani in the office, and they asked him if he still thought the president was fascist, and the president said, "Just say yes. It's easier that way." Don't worry about it. Just say yes.
Rob, who can resist the funny guy? You know, I mean, it's you're helpless against the humor.
You know, so that is Katie Miller and her new podcast, which is actually pretty good. That's Stephen Miller's wife, Stephen Miller, Deputy Chief of Staff. I am all for this relationship coming back. Doge 2.0, wouldn't that be great in 26?
I don't think he said he's not into the Doge thing anymore, but I want him back in the room and back in the president's ear. I thought that was one of the sexiest parts about electing Trump in 2024 was getting Elon along with it, and just seeing that. I've always been fascinated by him. And yes, the moment with Mamdani in the Oval Office when he said, just call me a fascist, it's easier. I mean, that was
just call me.
It was hilarious.
Elon loves you, by the way. I was at CPAC right there with the chainsaw. That was Rob Schmitt, people. Okay, don't forget it. Right?
I don't think he remembers much of that, but I had a little moment there. I appreciate you bringing it up.
But we do, Rob.
I
Number
needed
one in our
validity
hearts
today.
And in the ratings. All right, Rob.
Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you too.